Woodley on the beat.
Welcome back everybody to another episode of the MillionDollarConvos podcast. We probably should change the Trinidad episode. We have one of the most prolific Forex traders here in Jamaica. You understand? The man himself.
Probably in the Western Hemisphere.
Probably in the Western Hemisphere. This is no cap. This is the sign.
On the name Super Gen.
Red Bull, sorry. Yeah, so, you know, Mr. Jordan Witter, otherwise known as Yardpips, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. And before we jump down into the interview, I thank you on behalf of a lot of the youth and young entrepreneurs that are looking for guidance, looking for experience from other people that are out there doing it. Thank you for
much respect for that, and we'll continue doing it. So
keep it up.
So let's kickstart this interview now. Jordan, many people know the Yardpips persona, but not many people know who Jordan is, who Jordan Witter is. Can you give us a bit of background information on who you are, where you're coming from?
Alright, so for the purpose of this interview, like what the listeners didn't really want to hear, like I was just a youth who decides to say, oh, now go down the 9 to 5.
Right.
The more as a youth, I appreciate my free time, I know say you can leverage time as a relation to money and just be smart with your time and get the most money out of little time.
Right.
And no 9 to 5 never really give that because you're basically contracted to a company, have to do everything, but then one you do all of them or something. That's not me.
Right. So was there a pushback from your parents when you took that path?
Alright, so the thing is, I started from a young age doing a lot of the things that I don't know, right? So from high school days, I was the youth that was selling phones, unlocking phones. I always had this entrepreneur mentality.
Right.
And they noticed it, so they never really fight it, they try to nurture it and grow it instead. So I had the support of my friends.
Right, so that was a good start for you in terms of your entrepreneurial vision, you know, and how did you progress from there to become a Forex trader? Like, where were?
Alright, so the whole road for Forex now. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, when I was in high school, I usually do a little phone unlocking, cell phones, usually host parties. I usually do a little thing.
Everything.
Well, it's not really everything, but you have to try things, isn't it?
Right.
So, you guys remember the whole cryptocurrency bubble?
Yeah.
So I was in crypto before that bubble happened.
Really?
So from fourth form, I was looking into mining cryptocurrencies because like you could use a laptop to mine cryptocurrencies. Those way back now, like 2011.
Yeah.
So with the whole mining of cryptocurrencies, you have to check the value of them every now and then for when you're going to sell them on like local bitcoins and those places. So one place that I'd always go to was TradingView, because TradingView they just look like the best platform.
Yeah, I think it is.
Definitely. It is the best platform out there in terms of user interface, everything best. So, you know, on the right hand side of TradingView, like when you don't have an account or anything, you get to see like euro, US dollar, and stocks, all of those little things. So, when I was in the crypto game, I had made like a total investment of like $2,100. Right? And then like fresh out of high school. I'd not money for that. So like the whole bubble happened now, and you know, Bitcoin did move from like I think it was a couple $1,000 all the way up to like 17, 18 grand. So I was riding that, so I saw that little investment turn into like 21 grand. So I saw this investment in easy. So I thought I was just rich forever though. So when that happened, it really, as a young youth, it opened my eyes to what is actually possible in the financial markets, even though cryptocurrencies are a new emerging financial market on the global scene. So with that happen, you know, the whole after the bull rally, you start having a bear run.
Right.
So the returns and just buying and holding wasn't working anymore. Because it's not like I was applying any form of fundamental or technical analysis to it. I was just, you know, this one look pretty. Right? Yeah. So all of that stopped now, so I started to branch out into other things. And as I said earlier, when I looked at trading, I usually say Euro, US dollars, and you know, for a week, looking at like EU or GU, one of those currency pairs, you'd see rapid fluctuations.
Right.
So them time they never really know about lot size either. So I was like, yo, I can put $1 on this and it goes all like $1,000. So that's the young trader in me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this thing out. Register with a Forex broker. I remember the first broker I ever used, it named 21 options. And me, I said, yo, there was no way to lose your money quicker. No way to lose your money quicker. So it was like this trading thing where your trades expire after 5 minutes and you can see who else is trading with you. And it wasn't like any of those MetaTrader 4. It was just like a little online platform. And yeah. So there was a piece of money there, so I was like, okay, there's something wrong. Need to learn a little more. So that's when I start go down the track into learning from all over the place and trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that. So I was trying for a long time.
How long?
A trying phase. About 18 months.
18 months.
18 months of consistent losses. Like, if I
not many people have the result to really sit down for 18 months and absorb losses. That's different, you know.
Alright, Moses. How I view trading is as a competitive sport. We can compare it to chess, but with way more moving pieces. And I understood that there are entities out there that have never lost a trade from the day retail trading started.
That's never lost.
Never lost a trade. Never lost a trade.
I never thought that was possible.
100%? 100%.
Never lost
a trade.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
So they understand. Those are like the people that, the hedge funds that are investing millions of US dollars into quants and algorithms that study the market, machine learning, all of that. If you have the resources and you put it to there, they're going to definitely get to a point, because when you look at JP Morgan, Chase, HSBC, these large Forex players, they hardly lose trades.
I mean, they have the high frequency trading machines.
They
don't manually like us.
No, they'll piggyback on large trades. So you'll have 1,000 lots, which is like what, $10 million, and then $10 million in a trade for less than a 0.5 of a peak 1,000 times in 10 seconds. High frequency trading, man, they're printing, man. They're printing, man.
Essentially. So like, you mentioned earlier that you're trading for 18 months straight, consistent losses. I know there are a lot of traders listening right now experiencing losses, but you know, it can be very discouraging. You know, how did you progress in spite of losing?
I have a goal, and as I said, the goal and the competitive side of it, I wanted to be a winner. It wasn't about the whole money thing anymore, because I was passionate about it. This is what I wanted to do. So it wasn't about the financial side of it. I wanted to be successful in this game. It's trading that game to me. I want to be successful in it. So the whole period of losses, it wasn't just a whole technical aspect of it, because there was also a psychological aspect of it.
Yes. That's leading to our next question.
Very sensitive.
No man, I think this is we should have started with the psychology. Because that is the one thing that really affects a lot of traders. Especially, I've come in contact with quite a few Jamaican traders, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but we seem to have a strong attachment, a strong psychological attachment to money, and we have a serious problem with losing money. So what I noticed some Jamaican traders will do, It's like, alright, then initially set a trade, 20 pip stop loss, and they will adjust that stop loss rather than lose that money. So you'll turn $100 loss into $150, $180 loss, which over time, that's eating away your account equity.
Right,
so it's not really the best of practices, and it's not the easiest one to break.
Right.
So going into the whole trading game, I wasn't the best psychology. I had poor and horrible psychology.
Oh no, you made me agree with you with that. I agree with that.
There's some things that you have to deliberately identify with yourself, and there's other things that you have to learn from the market that you wouldn't even know about yourself. Right? So like, I remember there's the last time I did a bad psychological trade. Funny story too, because like I still remember it today. It was on the 12th of February 2020. Yes, starting of this year. It's the last time I did a bad psychological trade, because like I did overcome this in like the summer of 2019, like the spring summer of 2019. So starting of 2019, I overcome this issue. Well, I thought I overcame this issue.
Right. It's a relapse.
Going good. And there's this day I was buying some gold. I think I bought gold at like, I think it was like probably high 1300s, low 1400s. And like I was in a nice rally, and I got up to about 7,000 US dollars, and best believe I closed that trade with $2,000. $2,000 just because the greed factors, like, yo, this can go on. Which I'm looking in my journal, I see that my analysis is, yo, come out of the trade. All of these factors are telling me to come out of the trade. But it's like I don't want to, man, feel hot. I say, yo, what is this?
I mean, is the price of gold now? Gold is going towards 3,000 right now, bro.
That's crazy. I think of this morning was like $2,060 or something like that. But the financial climate is the best place to seem to put money.
So even as a forex trader, even after being successful as a forex trader, I'm not going to say successful because you're always learning.
Always getting. I want to be better. Right now, I still want to be better.
Right. So, you know, you have all of this capital coming in. You know, this is not financial advice, but like from your perspective, like when you get that cash coming in, like how you feel, what you do with it, or what you do with yourself.
All right. So, is a situation where when I just started trading, it's completely different from what I'm doing now. As I get the money, I jump on plane and I explore and then look at it. That's why I usually like doing it. But you have to understand that even as a consistent trader, when I've overcome certain things in my whole technical analysis game and all of that, but even as a consistent trader, you have to prepare for times when the market is not going to give you the rewards that you want. Right? So you need to have other sources of income. Right? So I have a phone business, Supplies Plus. I have a bees business, JB's Honey. I have a sell and locks business, still from high school, which is sell and locks JD. And the whole Forex game. But initially, I would spend money frivolously, go out every second, like, when I watch spending. That was wrong. Like, that was something that I was fundamentally wrong. And as a young entrepreneur, you need to get over those little things. You can't just spend out your capital like that. And one of the things that really helped me with that was actually a book called Richest Man in Babylon. Right? So I noticed you guys, when you guys sent over the questions, you asked about a few books. But Richest Man in Babylon is one book that really changed how I went about money spending. I advise everybody that's listening to this podcast, check the book out. And if you don't want to dive deep down into the book, you can just search the...
We'll leave a link down below.
Man.
The book in
man. But there's something key in that book. I think it's the 5 or 7 laws of gold. Right? So
I remember reading it.
Yeah, man. So those rules, if you stick by those rules, money will come to you. Like this book right before Jesus. Because
that's worked for so many years.
That's BC. I was in the first capitalist society in Babylon City. So they know what they're talking about, man. Trust me, very nice book. But that really helps me with the whole capital issues. Reinvest. No matter how much you feel you're making, yes, pay yourself. Book speaks about that, but also reinvest for rainy days.
So, you know, we spoke about money, since you have money topic here. You know, other people say that, you know, when you have a lot of money, you know, you change yourself or you're changed by the money. But I really think that the money exposes you. If you're getting that money that is new to you, you start exposing you truly are. But you seem to be very reserved. Right. You know, I don't know how your financial state, and I don't want to publicize it either. But you seem like this. I don't know who you were before, but you seem very humble as it relates to, you know, how you manage your money, how your demeanor, your ego. You know, it's on a level that not most people who have money would be like. So how do you like keep yourself in check? How do you stay humble?
It wasn't always like that.
It was
not always like that. As I said earlier, but you learn, and then you also learn from society too, because I've seen a lot of people, not know personally, but just like out the place, you see people come up and you see them fall back. I want to be constantly progressing. I don't want to move stagnant, I don't want to slow down. So I have to reinvest, constantly reinvest, which is why even though I have this business from high school, a lot of times my Forex withdrawals, I just buy phones with them. I'll be supplying phone stores with phones now. So I just constantly reinvest.
Yeah.
I always find a little thing, you know, like.
So back on the money topic, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to Jamaica and, you know, banks on a whole and, you know, carrying certain volumes of money, right? The transition from that person in high school, you know, just made the first $2,000. How is it compared to now? What happened?
As it relates to trading on a whole, you know, a lot of people will look at the finished product, or look at you now, and you know, all you've achieved, but they tend to forget about probably the process that it took to get you to this point. What was your journey like, you know, to becoming a consistent, to becoming consistently profitable as a trader?
Quite frankly, one of the best traders in Jamaica. Quite frankly.
Without a doubt.
Western Hemisphere.
Because we're working together. Alright, so bad habits was the first thing I had to get away. Get rid of those. Another book again to shout out, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and The Subtle Art of Not Being
Giving up.
Put the beat or something.
I'll just put explicit content. You know?
So those two books really did help me to change to a state of equanimity, being calm, collective.
Right?
I'll tell you where I get that book. Sorry, that word from another book I forgot to shout out. So is it a question with the book then? Alright, so you have a book called The Paradigm Shift.
Yes.
As a trader,
you have to
need to read this book.
Definitely.
Need to read this book. It is the best work in terms of the whole trading industry that I've read so far. Some of them books are boring and they really don't relate to me. So honestly, Paradigm Shift is it. So Subtle Art, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and Paradigm Shift were the three books that really molded me into accepting the losses and understanding that one, it's a part of the game, and two, if you up your game, you reduce your losses, and three, you need systematic approach to the market. 100% systematic approach to the market with risk factors. So you can go into the market on a 100 trade basis and lose probably 65 trades and still come out profitable as long as you have a systematic approach with risk management. So understanding that from a statistical point, I say, okay, I need to develop plans and test these plans in the market to see which plan is going to give me the most favorable results. So it's another thing though, like, for the plan never work.
So like the process of placing a trade for you, like what is the process like from its inception to its execution?
Alright, so let me answer that in two ways. Before a certain period in my trading and after a certain period in my trading, when I attain a certain level of consistency. Before, in the earlier years of my trading, I had a plan, but I was not strict with the plan, and I did not have a certain level of understanding in the market to execute the plan efficiently and effectively.
Right.
So I would see a setup, see a reaction, feel discouraged because I missed the reaction at the best point and still enter the trade, hoping that I'll still get the upside.
Yeah.
So you know when you miss the perfect entry,
yeah,
the risk to reward start going from
3 to 1 to or 4 to 1 to.
Well, half. Yeah. So that's not where we want to be. So as I said, a systematic approach. No analysis is done beforehand. So you won't see me on the charts 24/7 searching for trades. I look for evidence of large institutions in the market that I'm willing to piggyback.
So the news fundamentals are important.
Not from my perspective.
Not from your perspective. What's your perspective as it relates to that?
Okay, so as it relates to news, fundamentals. Alright, my perspective of fundamentals, they're just fuel to the fire pushing the market in the direction that it was initially going to go.
Okay.
Because check this, cause and effect, right? If entity A understands that, because you need to understand that these large institutions, they know what the news is before it happens, because they have the same people that are working for these news entities, these statistics running the numbers at their end. So they have the economists telling them what the economists at the news space is going to tell the public. So they know what's going to happen, right? So if there's positive outlook, and positive outlook comes out at 6 o'clock, a large entity that's wants to make 10-15% on a certain trade cannot enter that trade at 6 o'clock because a large entity is entering $500, $600, $700 million.
Yeah.
So you have to have accumulation before news for distribution as profit taking. So news to me just push the market in the direction that they really want it to go, or the forecasted direction. But as a trader, you want to be in before the massive move.
Yeah.
I mean, as it relates to accumulation knowledge, brother. Yo, no, the money is not different. Like honestly, the money is not different.
And I think that's the thing with a lot of traders. Like, we need to take the time out and invest in the money.
I mean, it's not about the charts alone.
Exactly.
It's not about the charts alone, bro.
I kid you not, psychologically overcoming the burdens with the hardest parts, because you can have the best technicals and still not be a successful trader. As long as you're not disciplined to yourself, your plan, and disciplined to yourself, and as long as you're not disciplined to that, you're not going to get the results. You're not going to get the results.
So was there ever a time where there was a mentor in your life, right? Other than the books that you read, but you never meet those people, but you read the words, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So was there ever a time when you had a mentor, somebody in your corner pushing you in this particular direction?
Alright, so there's a pivotal point with my trading. Before consistency and after consistency. During that transition phase, I worked on finding how to be successful. And being successful also involves surrounding yourself with successful people. So I have about 5 people that are trading day in, day out. We conversate about trading, we do analysis together, we critique each other's analysis together. Just a community where we can be together in the whole trading space. So we had Durant Carter, we had Picasso, we had Tejan, we had Claude, we had Gian, we had Anka, we had Duma. There's an entire community of us working towards one goal. And when you're in a certain space with a certain people, they will call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Because as humans, we don't like to accept our flaws sometimes, but a lot of us do some things where we really need somebody to call you up on. So especially in the market, as traders, we like to be private with our MT4. Yeah. We don't want to open it and make people see when we're trading. But when you're in a space when you have 5-6 computers open around you and you're all looking at the same chart, and you make one trade and say you're only risking 0.8% of your account on this one particular trade, and you have a little dirty habit where you risk 0.8 and then you say you go down to go fling in another trade.
Yeah.
So you start going in your direction and say, yeah, but this is going to win, man. Fling in another trade. No, them little habits there, you have to keep it to yourself, get rid of those habits when in certain areas with certain people. See? So being in a community really did help to get rid of some of my bad habits. So that community was my mentor, that entire community.
Was you?
Yes, they all played a part in me getting to where I am as a trader.
So can you advocate for making groups of like-minded, not even just traders, understand, like-minded individuals?
Yes,
understand, working towards the same goal.
Definitely, and that is why I thank you guys for what you are doing with Hustle House Jamaica, because you are creating a community, you are creating a group of like-minded people, whether it be Forex, real estate, whatever investment ventures are, even just basic life advice. You're creating a community of people that are working towards one goal. Exactly. And I really do believe in the law of attraction and those things, so it's definitely a plus for me. But based off experience also, I've seen where communities can go sour sometimes, because you'll have people in there that don't have the same intention as the majority of the community. And then it's one or two things that again have to do. Is either you're going to have to remove the person, or you're going to have to call the person out. And the second option is usually the better, because it helps to make one person even better. Exactly.
So like as it relates to the books, because you mentioned books earlier.
They
told me they have an arsenal.
Arsenal of books, man. Yo, let me tell you that story. The first book me ever read in my life. Same. I still don't like reading. I cannot read a book on my laptop. I cannot read on my iPad. I cannot read on my
physical.
phone. I have to hold it.
Yes.
Right?
I have to hold it.
The first book I ever read in my life at 2017, 2018. Apart from school, you now see me get up and go find a book. That was not me. I was not that person. But books, wealth of knowledge, man. So much knowledge. Some of the books then that I told you already, the Arsenal, I mentioned some of them already, but we didn't get into some other ones. So ones that I mentioned already.
What was that first one that you read in 2017, 18 though?
2017, 2018.
Your first one that you read, you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Because most person's first book is always Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or
my
I attempted to read that book, but honestly, I never make it past chapter.
Bro, my first book was Ben Carson, Think Big, and it took me a year to read that book, bro, like a whole year.
Don't get me wrong, my mom did buy me enough books to
Which books are
them? No, man, books like she just say, I got this book, or my friend gave me this book. I appreciate those things, and I should read them, because every time I read a book, there's at least one thing that does impact my life. Really, really